On today's episode of Crossing the Line, swattings, bans, and assassinations as the left escalates the culture war. Let's get into it. G'day guys, thanks for joining us here on another episode of Crossing the Line. And tonight we're going to get straight into some news with Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago FBI search affidavit has been released, but has been heavily redacted, and I don't think you're going to get much sense out of it. It's mostly redacted. It's pretty much a useless document. Nearly 3 weeks after FBI agents descended on former US President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, a Florida judge has unsealed parts of the affidavit underpinning this search for classified documents. 38 pages released on Friday afternoon local time are heavily redacted, but reveal key details in the US Department of Justice ongoing criminal investigation into the former president's potential mishandling of government secrets. Now, we all know that if he had any classified documents, he was well within his rights whilst he was president to declassify them. So any documents that he had wouldn't be illegal for him to own or have in his possession. Now, they did go and request some documents from him a couple of weeks before the raid, which he gave them those documents, and that seemed to be the end of it, and then they came knocking on his door. Now, Trump's got to deal with this before he announces he's running for the next election, but this is not the first time the left has gone and attacked people on the right, and it seems like it's escalating in severity. Now, FBI raiding Donald Trump's house, and now the FBI that did raid him have a history with him, so I don't know whether bias is going to come into it, but the guy who gave them the warrant to raid Trump used to be a lawyer for the Epstein trial. Now, he defended, I think it was the pilot and a couple other people that were working with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and now he's issuing warrants for raids on Trump's home. So I don't know what's scarier there is that the guy who defended Epstein and his associates is now attacking the ex-president of the United States, or that everyone just seems to be going along with it and not giving a shit that they're breaking the law and, trying to censor anyone who speaks out on the right. And they're doing it so badly that they're going after the fucking ex-president, probably future president too. If Biden has anything to say about it, he'll probably just shit his pants full over and ask for an ice cream. But no way Biden will win this next election now if Trump runs again or if DeSantis runs. There's no fucking way. He has destroyed the US. He's destroyed half of Europe because of his dealings in Ukraine, and we're feeling the after effects here in Australia, and the rest of the world would be feeling the same wave of shit coming from all of his greedy dealings and backstabbing shit he's been doing. Now, this is not the first time, and probably won't be the last, that they've started attacking people that don't agree with them. A couple of weeks ago, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, a man was arrested trying to murder Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Now, he had been doxxed, so his information was given out on the internet. A man went outside to kill him. He brought equipment to tie him up, and I'm guessing wimped out, thank God, and handed himself into police. A California man armed with a handgun who planned to kill US Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh has been charged with attempted murder. 26-year-old was arrested near Justice Kavanaugh's home in the state of Maryland, voicing dismay about the expected rulings circulating abortion access and expanding gun rights, authorities said. The man identified as Nicholas Rosk from Los Angeles was carrying a handgun he had purchased to kill Justice Kavanaugh, as well as ammunition, a tactical knife, pepper spray, and other items, according to an FBI agent. Justice Kavanaugh's home has been the site of some protests by abortion rights advocates since May 2. Publication of a leaked draft opinion indicating the Supreme Court was poised to overturn its landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade decision. Now, obviously they have, and before they even had, this guy was out there to kill him. Now, recently, in the last couple of days, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been swatted twice in her home. There was a recording, you can find it online, of them saying that there was something. Yeah, here we go. 911 received a call from the suspect claiming responsibility for the incident and his or her motives. They explained that they were upset about Miss Green's stance on transgender youth's rights and stated they were trying to swat her. Now, people are trying to kill a congresswoman over her views on castrating and poisoning children. Now, if you're not up for castrating, cutting off breasts and genitals of children, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't know anyone who does. Now, they've tried to get her, which, if you don't know what swatting is when you call the police pretending there's a incident at someone's home, a violent incident usually involving a gun, so the SWAT team turns up, maybe say it's a hostage situation or something like that usually, and people have been shot, people have been killed, YouTubers, live streamers, they have been shot while sitting at their computer desk because someone had spotted them as a joke or a prank. Now, as of today, filming this, he's not Proud Boys founder, but Gavin McInnes interrupted mid-show Sparks Theories. It looks like Gavin McInnes has been swatted, or he got raided by the FBI. I don't really know what's going on, but mid-show he was taken out. Now, Gavin McInnes used to work for Vice News. He left there because they started going ultra woke left, as I've seen some of their posts today on Facebook, was quite funny. Now, they say he's a Proud Boys, what do they call him? The Proud Boys founder. Now, kinda, it was a joke. He started Proud Boys as a joke to like go, oh yeah, well, Antifa's going around beating up all these people at protests. We need our own thing, and we call them Proud Boys, and never really had anything to do with it. It was just a passing comment, kind of, and it exploded from there because it was a void that needed filling. There was a left-wing, fascist, violent group that was attacking peaceful protests all around America and all around the world, and the Proud Boys kind of said, you know what, we've had enough and we need to get together and sort that shit out. And any footage, I don't know if they've done anything bad, but I haven't seen Proud Boys do anything like Antifa. They've pretty much defended protests. If there was a big Islander dude in the States, it looked like he was just pretty much stopping people from being attacked and maced and bike locked by little virgin Antifa girls and boys, and de-escalating a lot of the situation. So I don't know why they just push them out there to be some extremist right-wing group when they're not. But they like to say that he's the reason for Proud Boys, and who gives a fuck if he was? They don't do anything wrong, as far as I know. And, you know, that if you're going to have Antifa causing violence and killing people and hurting people, attacking people over like a slight disagreement or a political view, then someone's going to stand up and say, no, I've had enough. And that's what looks like the Proud Boys have done. I'll have a look at this little video clip here. See how... Oh, okay. All right, no worries. It's out there somewhere if you want to go and have a look. The video is basically he comes up to the camera, looks at the camera, talks to someone off screen. Yeah. looks like he has been arrested now. FBI. An FBI spokesperson said in Newsweek they could not comment. Careless also noted that McGuinness previously told his audience during one of his previous shows that he'd been spotted. He had spotted an unmarked police car outside his home. Possible setup or prank, premonition or something else. Careless tweet. So, if he's being black bagged, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kavanaugh a couple of weeks ago, there was also Salman Rushdie. Andrew Tate's been cancelled. Now, anyone who speaks out against the left, anyone who speaks out not following the preordained towing the line that they've set in place is getting whacked, deleted off the internet, censored, blocked, FBI raided. Doesn't matter. They're using everything they can. Now, Salman Rushdie was also attacked the other day. He's stabbed in the neck. I believe he's in a... he seems to be doing a lot better in hospital now. Salman Rushdie's road to recovery has begun. Will be long after his stabbing in the Western New York late last week. The novelist's agent said, the injuries are severe, the agent Andrew Wiley said on Sunday as in an email to The Guardian, alluding to stab wounds that the author suffered to his neck, stomach, eye, chest and thigh 2 days earlier. But his condition is headed in the right direction. The Indian-born British novelist remained in hospital on Sunday in critical condition, but has been removed from a ventilator, which has allowed him to talk and demonstrate that his usual feisty and defiant sense of humour remains intact. His son Zafar said that in a separate statement. Earlier Sunday, Hadi Matar, the man suspected in Friday's attack at a literary festival in upstate New York, pleaded not guilty to charges of attempted murder and assault at a brief court appearance where he was denied bail. Now, that was a long-going feud. They had a fatwa against Salman Rushdie for over 10 years now, I believe, because of that Satanic Verses book. Now, we all know you can't comment on the religion of peace, otherwise things like this tend to happen to you, so we will move on. Another person that has been blocked, censored, sued, arrested, Avi Yemeni from Rebel News. This is when he was, that's him there, God, that looks like he's having fun. When he was covering the protests, they were after him. They knew where he was. They knew where he was going. They were tracking him, and they arrested him. There you go. His photos just there. Just a reporter reporting on the news. He has been harassed and attacked because he asks questions that they don't want to answer, and then they know they can't answer. And that's why people like Jacinda Ardern, when they have a meeting and they have all the press there out the front of a building, asking approved questions that she already knows the answer to because they've all been sent to her previously, so she's prepared. And then you get one person who asks her a question. I think it was something to do with COVID vaccines and the vaccine booster shots, I think. They said, how many booster shots are we expected to get? Is it 4? Is it 8? Is it 10? And she took offence to that question, so she shut down the entire interview with an entire press junket there with 20 or 30 people, possibly more, with cameramen, sound guys, you name it, and then moved the entire event inside the building and then kicked that one person out. Now, she's another fucking story, that thing. Jesus Christ. I don't know. There is mass protests over in New Zealand at the moment. Have you seen anything on the news? No? Do you know anyone in New Zealand? Maybe ask them. They might know what's going on, but it's all out of the fucking news. You have to dig and search for it. Now, these people, Avi, Salman, Andrew, Gavin, Marjorie, Brett Kavanaugh, Donald Trump, that's not even half the people that they do this to. They get blocked on Twitter. They have Alex Jones is another one. They tried cancelling Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle because they talk out of turn and don't say shit. Now, that is entertaining. You cannot cancel people who do not want to be cancelled. That is abundantly clear. Now, you can delete them off all these platforms, but there are other platforms that are growing. Rumble, Getter, Trump's Truth Social. I don't know how that's going. You can't get it in Australia, I don't believe still. But we're on Getter and Truth and Rumble as well. Rumble's pretty good. It's like a YouTube, Twitter kind of combination. Getter's basically Twitter. It's good. They work well. The programs work well. Some of them are even have got better UIs than other like Facebook and stuff like that. But you can't say anything out of turn if you're relatively famous and they don't like what you say. You get shut down. Yeah, imagine how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people that they're blocking, shadow banning, muting. Banning outright from all these platforms. They just don't like what they say. It's like, how easy it is to get banned on Facebook if you say the wrong word. They go, there we go, you're not allowed to say that. Now, Twitter's just changed their rules on saying, talking about masks for a certain disease that had been getting around lately. Now it's completely gone out of their rules. So don't know whether you get banned or kicked off Twitter still for saying anything about them, about masks, how well they worked or didn't work, but it's not in their website anymore. Now, speaking of Joe Rogan and Facebook, there was a fantastic podcast the other day. Joe Rogan had Mark Zuckerberg on. Obviously listen to pretty much every JRE podcast that's out there. Now, I saw the memes and the news stories on Twitter before I even saw the podcast and what happened on there. Now, this is being covered slightly by right-wing news sources and media and people like that, but anything on the mainstream media or even left-wing media isn't covering it at all. They're just talking about other things that they're talking about Mark Zuckerberg and Joe Rogan because they have to, but they're not talking about this particular part of the podcast where Mark Zuckerberg admitted that the FBI came to Facebook, came to them and told them that they needed to censor information regarding a certain presidential race that was happening with Donald Trump, and possibly, I don't know whether the laptop was mentioned specifically, but they alluded to there being Russian collusion, that that there was going to be a dump of information that needed to be censored, and he fully admits to censoring it. He said that they didn't go the whole hog like Twitter did, but it's pretty scary when the FBI comes to what is a public square, like Facebook and Twitter and even, say, Instagram, things like that. They use that much that they have become the public square where freedom of speech should be able to be expressed, but it's not. And they can come and shut down information about an election and meddle in an election with legitimate, now that we know it's completely 100% correct information. It's, like if you look into the Hunter Biden laptop, the amount of shit that dude got up to is astounding. Photos of him with prostitutes, cocaine, ice, drugs, illegal guns, you name it. Like, okay, that just sounds like a fun weekend. But then there's other shit like calling his dad, the President of the United States, pedo Peter in his phone, talking about business dealings with him that he shouldn't be able to, that he shouldn't be talking about with. He's not allowed to, they shared bank accounts. They're not allowed to be having all these business dealings in Ukraine with Burisma that they were having, and it's all there in the laptop. It was all proven and real. And the FBI wanted that shit shut down. The FBI is becoming the Gestapo for the Biden administration, possibly even without Biden, because they were doing this shit before Biden was in. So who's pulling the strings for the FBI? And we'll go with this short clip here. I can't play too much, but this is what was said here. Sorry, I don't want it to be too loud.
Decisions even about what just happens on our platform.
How do you guys handle things when they're a big news item that's controversial? Like there was a lot of attention on Twitter during the election because of the Hunter Biden laptop story. The New York
we
Post.
had that too.
Yeah, so you guys censored that as well?
So we took a different path than Twitter. Basically the background here is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant. So our protocol is different from Twitter's. What Twitter did is they said you can't share this at all. We didn't do that. What we do is we have. If something is reported to us as potentially misinformation, important misinformation, we also have this third-party fact-checking program because we don't want to be deciding what's true and false. And
we don't want to be deciding what's true and false, but they do. They did it with COVID. They did it with Trump. They did it with anything that they deem, detrimental to their cause. Not only have the FBI overstepped their bounds there, but obviously if they're doing it in the last election, they would have been doing it in the one before, and they're going to be doing it in the next one. This hit job the FBI is trying to do on Trump now, I don't know if he can beat it because no one really knows what's in those documents yet. That'll probably come out sooner or later, but Trump is now suing the FBI, suing the American government, federal government, over the raid, and that right there has just given him so much bloody ammunition for the court case. It's not funny. That very well could have right there just won Trump the next election, and it just shows you how far Trump derangement syndrome and the left psychopaths are going to go. And it shows you how far gone some people are, where the FBI is now being the brown shirts of the American state. It's scary. It really is scary. Now, speaking of Trump derangement syndrome and wanting to see how far people have lost their minds and how far they have gone off the fucking reservation, which I don't know we're allowed to say that anymore. But Sam Harris was on trigonometry the other week, and it was a fantastic podcast. The guys at Trigonometry are fantastic. I only just subscribed to these guys not so long ago. They have some really good podcasts out there. Information, bit different from the usual shit that you get from American or Australian podcasts, English guys. It's pretty fucking good. Now they've been doing a tour of America. They've been on the JRE podcast. They've talked to, I believe, Matt Walsh as well, a few other people. But this one here with Sam Harris just shows you how far the left has lost it. They have completely lost their mind. This is about the Biden laptop story. Now, the guys were trying to get him off the topic of Trump. They've been talking about Trump for, there we go, half an hour, 20 minutes, and they wanted to get him off the topic. Sorry about me dogs. Now, he goes into detail. They're just about changed topics. He goes into detail about why he thinks that the Biden laptop story was needed to be pushed under the rug. And this is scary. This is supposed to be an intelligent, well thought out man who isn't biased, apparently. Well, let's see for yourself.
listen, I don't care what's in Hunter Biden's. I mean, Hunter Biden, at that point, Hunter Biden literally could have had the corpses of children in his basement. I would not have cared, right? It's like, there's nothing. First of all, it's Hunter Biden, right? It's not Joe Biden. But even if whatever scope of Joe Biden's corruption is, like if we could just go down that rabbit hole endlessly and understand that he's getting kickbacks from Hunter Biden's deals in Ukraine or wherever else, right? Or China. It is infinitesimal compared to the corruption we know Trump is involved in. It's like a firefly to the sun, right? I mean, like there's just it doesn't even stack up against Trump University, right? Trump University as a story is worse than anything that could be in Hunter Biden's laptop, in my view, right? Now that doesn't answer the people who say it's still completely unfair to not have looked at the laptop in a timely way and to have shut down the New York Post's Twitter account. Like that's just a conspiracy. That's a left-wing conspiracy to deny the presidency to Donald Trump. Absolutely, it was absolutely right. But I think it was warranted. Right, and again, it's a coin toss as to whether or not
Sam, I'm sorry.
That particular piece.
I'm really sorry. I was the one that said we should move on, but you've just said something I really struggle with there, which is
look at the chat going on.
The kids in the basement.
No, fuck the kids in the basement. I'm interested in democracy. You're saying you are content with a left-wing conspiracy to prevent somebody being democratically re-elected as president.
Well, no, I'm content. Well, but the thing is, it's just not left wing, right? So Liz Cheney is not left wing.
What are you, fucking autistic? He would not have cared if there were dead children in his basement. Look at the fucking chat. Like, what the fuck did he just say? Like, yeah, rip Sam, yeah. Oh my God. The insanity of people on the left that just think that Trump is the Antichrist. It's biblical and it's religious, the amount of hate and venom that these people push towards Donald Trump. It's insane. Like the last episode, I talked about the guy at work who has Trump derangement syndrome, and I won't bash him again on here, but like, that's just one person that I've noticed. There's a couple other people who they say, "Oh, Trump's bad," and if you question them on it, they don't know why he's bad. They just say they have talking book. He's racist. Okay, what's he done that is racist? They have no answer. Oh, I don't know. It's okay. Well, and you school them on it, and you just say, "Well, this happened, and he's done this for black people, and the unemployment rate, and the American economy was booming, blah 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 blah." And they go, "Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, maybe." They probably don't change their mind, but they, at least you feel a bit better about giving them the truth of the matter. And they might not have so much bullshit running through their head that's been propagated on them by the mainstream media. Now, where does this end up? Where someone with Trump derangement syndrome tries to assassinate him? He's already been targeted. There was a man who was, I think, was stopped with a gun trying to assassinate him when he was running. It was a while ago, so I can't remember the details of it. But when you're getting someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene getting swatted, she says some pretty crazy shit sometimes, but she's like America's version of Pauline Hanson, if you don't know. She's not a dumb person. She seems quite intelligent. She's well put together, which comes on Timcast here. This is a story from Timcast, by the way. Salman Rushdie nearly murdered. Brett Kavanaugh nearly murdered. There was an American Republican running in, I think it was New York, and someone climbed up on stage and said that's enough and tried to stab him in the neck with a metal spike thing. You can't have an opinion of you on the right anymore, because now they are physically attacking you. This is leading into civil war where the FBI is going to trigger it. The FBI is going to be the brown shirts of the left. And if Trump runs again, when Trump runs again, and if or when he wins, or Ron DeSantis runs and wins, what are they going to do if say Trump wins again, they're going to lose it. They're going to lose. There will be blood in the streets. There was blood in the streets when he won the first time. America needs to get their shit together, because if they go down, the rest of the world is going to suffer. Because look at the shit that their fuel prices went up, ours went up. They're running out of food, we're running out of food. China's just going to walk into Taiwan if America has a civil war, and then all those millions of people, which is about, I think, around about the same population of us here in Australia, are just going to get subjugated into communist China. It might take them a while, but if the US isn't doing anything, I think they'll just walk right over them. Same with Ukraine. If the US wasn't doing anything, Russia would just nuke the fucking cunts and walk right in there. If they knew the US would not retaliate, they would just walk in there. If there was a civil war going on in the US, they would just decimate them. Then what do we do? Do we capitulate to China and kiss their ass? Not going to fucking happen. With the government we've got now, it very well could happen. So it matters who you vote for. It matters who you listen to. It matters what you talk about. Because the left is using violence. The left is deleting anyone with a differing opinion. You don't even have to be on the fucking right. You can be centrist. And they try to shut you up. There was a guy walking around, I think it was Melbourne or something like that, young kid walking around asking girls at a rally about the pro-life or abortion rights. And they're screaming out, "Fuck centrists." What the fuck? You can't even be in the middle anymore. They've gone so far left. What do? Do we push further and go right? That's not the point. That's not the answer, is it? But when they keep pushing violence and hurting people, killing people, burning down buildings, city blocks for Black Lives Matter, and gluing themselves to shit for the for the environment. Now, where does it end up? It ends up in a civil war. It's one domino after another. And I think when the election starts in the next couple of years, we're going to have a fucking scary time. A very scary time. Because they have no boundaries anymore. They didn't have any boundaries in with Trump's first election. They didn't have any boundaries then. So this next election is going to be scary in the US. And if that shit boils over and comes here, I saw people crying in the streets here over Trump winning the first time. And then when he lost the second time, they're gloating and carrying on like they had something to do with it. It's like, we're in a fucking Australia. Like, calm down. Like, yeah, it's have your opinion and viewpoint on it is obviously affects us, but Jesus Christ. Scary times. Now, we will leave it there at that, guys. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Crossing the Line. I hope that you enjoyed it. Can you please leave a like, share, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching our video. Please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel here at Crossing the Line, and I'll see you guys next time.
'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.